Kamala has imported an army of illegal alien gang members and migrant criminals from the dungeons of the third world. She has had them resettled beautifully into your community to prey upon innocent American citizens. That's what they're doing. And no place is it more evident than right here. Because in Aurora, multiple apartment complexes have been taken over by the savage Venezuela prison gang known as Tren de Aragua.
Well, that was former President Trump speaking at a rally in Aurora, Colorado on Friday. Now, ABC News host Martha Raddatz decided to press vice presidential candidate JD Vance over Trump's comments. And Vance then went viral for his response. Watch.
President Trump was actually in Aurora, Colorado, talking to people on the ground. And what we're hearing, of course, Martha, is that people are terrified by what has happened with some of these Venezuelan gangs.
Senator Vance, I'm going to stop you because I know exactly what happened.
Martha.
I'm going to stop you. The incidents were limited to a handful of apartment complexes, and the mayor said our dedicated police officers have acted on those concerns. A handful of problems.
Only, Martha, do you hear yourself? Only a handful of apartment complexes in America were taken over by Venezuelan gangs, and Donald Trump is the problem and not Kamala Harris's open border. Americans are so fed up with what's going on, and they have every right to be. And I really find this exchange, Martha, sort of interesting because you seem to be more focused with nitpicking everything that Donald Trump has said rather than acknowledging that apartment complexes in the United States of America are being taken over by violent gangs.
Okay, let's just end that with they did not invade or take over the city, as Donald Trump said. I want to move on to
just a few
women.
Apartment complexes, no big deal.
Oh my gosh, Kaylee, what a remarkable exchange. That, right to JD Vance's point, illustrates exactly where the left-wing media is.
Yeah. Martha. Okay. Look, Martha. First, we were told by the Democratic governor of Colorado that this was a figment of our imagination. Then Martha Raddatz tells us, oh, it's just a handful. She is a D.C. swamp journalist telling people who live in these working class apartments in Aurora, Colorado, that they should be okay with this, that their residences should just be taken over. This has happened across the nation, gang members committing crimes. In fact, we've seen crimes by Tren de Agua in Aurora, Miami, Chicago, Indianapolis, New York City, Dallas, and Wisconsin. Martha, how many buildings have to be taken over for you to give a flying flip about this? What if it was your home, Martha Raddatz? Tell us you're a D.C. swamp journalist without telling us outright. That is shameful.
And bringing the swampiness, Griff, even further to the entire network, like they doubled down after that. Let's take a look here. So ABC News doubled down essentially on the coverage, right? So they put out, Vance stands by Trump's false claims about Venezuelan gangs in Aurora, Colorado. Now, contrast that, Griff, with today's New York Post cover that gets it right. Pay to pray. What say you?
Well, look, I think Kaylee's got it right. And with due respect to Martha Raddatz, she says in that clip, I know what's going on. No, you don't, because I have spoken directly to the chief of the Border Patrol, the commissioner of CBP, the director of ICE, all who have told me directly that Tren de Aragua, in the fear of them taking over, is a priority that they're focusing on right now. 4 years ago, Tren de Aragua wasn't even on the radar. And you look at the Venezuelan ties, possibly to Tren de Aragua, and 12-year-old Jocelyn Nungare raped and murdered by two Venezuelans who were released by this administration in Houston. Is that only one 12-year-old girl? Look at Laken Riley in Georgia. Is that only one nursing student? The brother tied to Tren de Aragua, the murderer likely tied to it as well. Look, she is absolutely missing the point of the threat. And I wish that the officials would allow us to do an interview with those top border officials to say, this is our top concern. That's right. And to Griff's point, so Morgan, I know you've been to the border a ton too, and the Border Union Patrol had this quote. He came out and he's supporting President Trump, and he's warning about the election.
I have a message for you. If we allow Border Czar Harris to win this election, every city, every community in this great country is going to go to hell. Only one man can fix that. That is Donald J. Trump.
Yet again, according to ABC News, though, nothing to see here.
You know, I look at the video of those Border Patrol guys, and I think not only do they put their lives on the line for our country, because we have ceded operational control of our border to the cartels. Something that I learned at the border recently is how many have committed suicide. Sadly, the suicide rate amongst Border Patrol is so high. And just seeing that picture, I wanted them to know, and I know so many of them watch Fox News, how much we appreciate what they do. But also, JD Vance is totally right. The acceptable number of apartment complexes that should be taken over by Venezuelan gangs in the United States is 0. And it's not just the Venezuelan gangs, it's also the Iranian plots that we just talked about, the Chinese having secret police stations that has been reported on extensively in the United States. Our enemies are within our borders, and this administration is largely ignoring it.
There's also an entire thread, Cheryl, about the impact it might have on the election, right? And when pressed about it, Mayorkas said, oh, no, nothing to see here. No, absolutely not. We'll show that. Take a watch.
What a powerful example of disinformation. There is no facts underlying these assertions. They are extremely damaging. It causes people to lose confidence in the integrity of the election system. The notion that we in law enforcement have sought to intentionally allow individuals to cross the border illegally for the purpose of voting is preposterous, and everyone should condemn that rhetoric. Everyone, regardless of party affiliation.
Looks like the wires being crossed from the two candidates happened yet again, Cheryl, because let's take a watch to what Kamala Harris said about what she would do about those illegal immigrants crossing the border. Watch.
One of the biggest problems with failure to have a comprehensive plan for immigration is that we have not given them the pathway to earn their right to citizenship. And that is, again, that is one of the priorities for me, frankly, in terms of my motivation for what I know we must do.
Every point that has been made on this couch in the last 5 minutes points back to one thing, and that is that she knows they are in trouble on the issue of immigration. Even that NBC News poll, what would motivate you most to go vote in November? Number one was abortion. Right behind it, immigration. And that is going to play out in Arizona. That's going to play out in Georgia, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, so on and so forth. Back to New York City really quick. There is now concern about a possible gang war erupting here in New York City. Those gangs, the trendier Wagwa, it's literally a block away from where we're sitting right now. And look at what's happening in Chicago. You cannot gaslight America anymore.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.